Hi, I'm Melissa McMahon with Care Paravel Academy. I'm here to talk to you today a little bit about the Christmas season. It is mid-November here and we are getting ready to start the whole season, and I thought perhaps you would like to know some of what we have done in the past and what we're doing now, and to perhaps give you some ideas. Now there are some caveats here. One is that every family is going to look different. You've got your own family traditions that you are incorporating from your husband and yourself and putting it together, and your children are different. So your traditions are different to begin with, and then they're going to change every year. I kind of thought it would be a little more fixed, like I had to decide what we were going to do, and my oldest was 5, and that was the way it was going to be forever, and it certainly has not been that way. We have changed it from year to year. Even this year, as we're sending one off to college, we're starting new traditions. So it will change for you. So anything that I say here are just ideas that you can take. They might not fit your family and your life right now, or it could be something you could consider to do later. I'm just going to tell you some things that have worked for us that have made the season more special and more sacramental and more joyous and easier, I think. So if that can help you, I am happy to share that. So one thing that we do is we adjust our school schedule around the church calendar. And so we start our first term in June. We do term 1 from June to Labor Day, term 2 from Labor Day until Thanksgiving. And then we have off all from Thanksgiving until Epiphany. And then we pick up term 3 and finish around Easter. So it's worked out really nicely for us. I especially like having the April and May free because that's when all of our other activities seem to be gearing up, dance recitals and such. And we can enjoy being outside and enjoying the beautiful weather that we have in our area at that time. So that has been really nice to be able to just take off school through all of the holiday season. Now, we don't take it off completely. There are still some things we do. We usually have lots of free reads that we save for this time period. We continue with our morning time, though it's a little bit changed, and I'll tell you about that. And usually there's some straggler books in there and some students that still need to keep up with some math. And now that my girls are older and doing some outside classes that run on the traditional school year, they do have classes into December. So they just have a lighter schedule here at the beginning. So scheduling that out helps a great deal. When they were little, maybe not so much because it's a lighter schedule to begin with, but now it helps to be done with school around Thanksgiving. So that's one thing I would encourage you to do if you can. The second thing is to extend the season. Add more special days in, but it makes it less stressful for the days that you have. So let me explain that because it sounds a little counterintuitive. She's telling me to add more to my life to make it simpler. Here's the thing. If you put everything onto Christmas Day, there's no way you can do everything you want to do in that one day, or even in the 24 days leading up to Christmas. So we have extended our celebration. We've looked back at the church calendar and we have separated Advent from Christmas celebrations. And so we observe Advent wonderfully, beautifully, and with joyful anticipation from the first Sunday of Advent through the 4 Sundays of Advent, and then Christmas Eve, Christmas, and then we start celebrating Christmas. So we celebrate the full 12 days of Christmas, and then we end with a big feast and a big gift for each of the kids on Epiphany. And so we make a bigger deal out of that. And we've been doing that for 4 or 5 years now, and it's been wonderful. I really recommend that if you can, especially if you have obligations to extended family. And I mean, we all do and we all should, and they don't feel like obligations, they're joyful obligations. But if you're trying to see everybody on Christmas Day and you might feel like, well, I didn't have Christmas at my house. Well, you still can. You've got lots and lots of time here. So for us, it's worked out really nicely that we can see our extended family as we can in town. Some live in town and some are far away. So it makes it so that we can add all of that in and still be able to do all that we want to do. Now in that, we also pull out some other special days through the season. We love celebrating St. Nick's Day, December 6th, so the girls put out their shoes and I put just a little treat in there. Usually we're involved in the Nutcracker production at that time of year, so usually their treats are related to that, new point shoes or tights or something, or just candy. It doesn't have to be big, it's just a little something, socks to go in their shoes. So we do that. And when they were little, this was nice because it was kind of a pressure valve, a release. You know, there's all this anticipation of presents and everything. So if you can give a present here at the beginning of the season, it seemed to seemed to kind of take the pressure off of, oh, will Christmas ever come? So that was really fun. Um, then Christmas Eve, we give books on Christmas Eve night. I read about that a few years ago, that Iceland gives books and chocolate on Christmas Eve. So we claim to be Icelandic and decided to do that too. It seemed like a good idea to us. So that's been a tradition that we've carried on. And then, of course, Christmas Day, and then Epiphany. So for gifts, two other holidays that we kind of celebrate in there. One is St. Lucy's Day on December 13th, and basically that's just candles and buns. So that sounds good to me. So we do that. And then also, sounds super homeschooly, but I'm talking to other homeschoolers. So November 29th is the birthday of C.S. Lewis, Louisa May Alcott, and Madeleine L'Engle. So those are three of our favorite authors. And once I discovered they were all three on the same day, we said, well, we're going to celebrate that. And this year it falls on the first Sunday of Advent. So it works out nicely that that's part of our Advent celebration too. So for the Sundays of Advent, we usually try to have a special meal on that day. Now again, usually we're involved in lots of different things are going on. We might have concerts at church or nutcracker performances. And so those Sundays get filled up. So if they do, this year they're not, but I would just choose another day that week to be our Sunday Advent feast. Even if it wasn't on a Sunday, we would just make that a date in the calendar, just like everything else, even if it couldn't be exactly on that Sunday. And that was fine. The point was just to have a time that we could get together, do some readings for Advent, and celebrate that part of the anticipation of Christ's second coming as we remember his first coming. So that was for Advent. Now, for gifts, I'll tell you some things that we have done in the past, and maybe you can pick and choose some ideas here. When my girls were little, I used gold, frankincense, myrrh, and swaddling clothes. Those were the gifts that Jesus got, so those were the gifts that we got. So the gold was something precious that they really wanted, a special toy or a bike or electronics, something like that. Myrrh, frankincense was something that helped them in their walk with the Lord. So a Bible or a book or a journal or music or video, something that might help them with their relationship with the Lord. And then myrrh was something for their body. So special soaps or I don't know, now we're into makeup, so I'm trying to remember what they were when they were little, fuzzy socks and slippers and things like that. And then swaddling clothes were clothes. So 4 gifts, and they were happy with that. We also had stockings, just with very practical things. So very, very simple, I thought, and it was helpful to limit it to 4, especially if you had a large family. And then their other gifts would be from family members, and they would draw names for secret sisters, the 5 of them would draw each other's names, and one day before Christmas we would all go to the mall one day and we would give them each $20 and 1 hour, and we would divide up into teams and go shopping and then meet back up at the food court, and all being a Twitter about the gifts that we had just gotten for our secret sisters, and then they were also supposed to serve their sisters all month, which happened for some better than others, but it was a fun thing to try to do there. And then Christmas morning, they would give their secret sister gift. Now, when I had babies, their stocking I just filled with their pacifiers. And let me tell you, that was brilliant, I thought, on my mind, and the babies loved it. They would just pick out a pacifier and then pick out another one and just be so excited to have this stocking full of pacifiers. Then we put them all back in, and then they would spend the day just pulling out things that they love. So perhaps that's an idea for you, because they really don't need anything, especially if you have toys and clothes from all the other sisters. So they all got their own special thing too. But for stockings, that was a good idea that they seem to really like. Now, for the last 6 years or so, not this year, but the past 6 years or so, we have done the 12 months of Christmas. And this was an idea that I totally stole from a friend of mine, because I just loved the idea of it. And that was on Christmas morning, she and her husband announced to the kids what their family activity would be for each month of the year. And it was planned out, it was on the calendar, it was done. So some of them were, bigger ticket items, like actual tickets to a show or a concert or anything that was coming into town, an event that they could go to. One year, I think they went to Disney. We hadn't done that. But a small trip, perhaps, to a nearby place, aquarium, a zoo, a picnic. It doesn't have to cost any money at all. A day to hike. One was coffee and a book, or hot chocolate and a book. You go to Barnes and Noble and they have $10 to spend on a book, and you get some hot chocolate for everybody. So things like that. So we would plan it, and then some years my husband and I would do a silly song about it, or a poem, or one year we sent them on a scavenger hunt to find different things that represented what we would be doing that year, and it was lots and lots of fun. So this year we're not doing that, in part because of COVID has canceled a lot of things, but also because I've got a girl going to college next year, so she won't be around to do that with us. So we're going back kind of to more traditional gifts this year. But that was so much fun, and it made it easier to spend that money in July if it was a Christmas gift. Something that I might not have bought tickets for, I could kind of justify it a little bit better because it was Christmas. And my kids loved it. Not all kids will. If they're used to having lots of things to unwrap, then they won't really, but it really worked for us, and we loved doing that. So as far as devotionals for the times that, and then Epiphany, yes, we've been celebrating Epiphany several years now, so we do give them a nice gift for Epiphany. So jewelry or electronics or a nice set of books that they've been wanting, whatever your kid just really longs for. And so that's nice. Being after Christmas, you can shop the after Christmas sales and kind of know maybe what they've gotten as gifts from family members. And it's just fun to do shopping after Christmas, I think, and to still be celebrating at that point. So for Advent readings, I've done several different things, and I'm going to share these resources with you. One is the Book of Common Prayer. We're Presbyterian, but we use this, and so you can follow the lectionary there for the readings. There are lots of books out there for Advent readings, but that's a good one. It's just scripture, so you can just go with that. One thing that I use in my own life is the Divine Hours, and these come out. There are 3 of them to cover the year, and this is autumn and winter, so it has special readings for Christmas time in there too. That's more for me, not so much for the kids. Now, one that I am super excited about, we have used in previous years, but it's just been reissued, is Cindy Rollins' Hallelujah. And this is great, and we have used this for morning time. Very short, very simple. You can make it as complicated as you want, but she doesn't want it to be complicated. So you can use Handel's Messiah to guide your scripture reading and your discussions on that, and it's a beautiful way to celebrate the season. And again, doesn't take much time and can involve the whole family in that. And then this book is great too. It's got different essays and recipes and ideas of how to extend the season and enjoy it fully. So I highly recommend that. Available on Amazon. And then literally just yesterday, I got in the mail from Amazon, Ann White, board member for Ambleside Online, has put out a new book based on Charlotte Mason's 4th volume, Ourselves. So it's Advent readings and the 12 days of Christmas. So I am really looking forward to this. So again, she takes readings from Charlotte Mason's Ourselves and puts them in form for Advent. So that's going to be my personal reading there, and probably since my older girls, Ourselves is part of the Ambleside curriculum, so I'll have them read that as well. So I'm just looking over my notes to make sure I hit everything. I think I did. So in a nutshell, that's what we do. It sounds like a lot, but like I said, extending it out really simplifies things. It is not all crammed in. You're not just throwing out the tree the day after Christmas and being done with it. You are enjoying the season and taking some of these slow days. And so I hope that that is a way that you can extend the season and enjoy it, especially with all ages. It seems to be such a magical thing for little children, but it can also be a time where they get overwrought and they can get really fussy at Christmas time with late nights and lots of sugary snacks and everything else. So this is a way just to kind of spread it out a bit and let everyone enjoy all the different aspects of Christmas. I will add one more thing because I love doing this as when ours were little, and so maybe it will work for you. It doesn't work for us anymore because ours are big. But when they were little, my husband and I would put up the tree together when they went to bed one night. We wouldn't even tell them we were doing it. And it was early in the season, often around St. Nick's Day. So we would, sorry, that was my phone. This is not professionally done. We would put them to bed, put up the tree, and it was a really nice date night for us. And we would get all decorated. So then when they came into the room the next morning, that was the most magical time of the year. So I understand why people put up their tree on Christmas Eve. We put it up earlier than that, but we got the same effect for the kids to be just super in awe of this beautiful tree that had been put up overnight. And my husband and I got a date out of it and could enjoy putting up the fragile ornaments without worrying about little hands to do it. And we would save a few ornaments for them to put on too. But that was really fun and really special. Now we all help. It's a different kind of fun and special. But and my husband and I can get out more easily because we don't have to have a babysitter. But that might be something you can consider too. So I'm sorry for the rambling nature and for my phone going off and everything else. But I did want to give you this information that might help you and might encourage you in the season. So I hope you have a wonderful Christmas season this year and in years to come. And blessings to you and your homeschool and your family.